Hi, Ron Rapitalo. I've been a member of Grace Church after Shanita went to Pastor Lori's convocation in March 2014 or February?
2014, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so I'm Shanita Rapitalo. Our daughter Sophia was just 3 months at the time when it happened. So, and we have been looking for a church home for a while. So we have Ron, Shanita, Sophia, who's 5, and baby on the way.
Yeah, Grace is the exact 180 of how I grew up around expectations of church and community and worship. Um, I remember going to church and just being able to recite every single prayer. I didn't really understood what it ever meant. And even going to, in the Catholic tradition, right, I was going to public school, so I got pulled out for religious instruction. So at first it was Sunday school, but then once I got to third grade, I got pulled out once a week in the afternoon, right, to go for an hour of instruction. And it felt so much, it was bad pedagogy to begin with because it was so much about like, have you read this? What's the answer, right? And as I got older, I started to tune out and question. So my father passed away when I was 10, and I think my own relationship with God and the church started to shift because I still remember when my father passed, the first thing, and my mom used to recite this to me, I don't know why. I don't know if it was torture or just whatever. She's like, do you remember how you cried when your father passed away and you asked like, why God, you're taking, your daddy away? And that moment stuck with me because when I was supposed to get confirmed in 8th grade, I just stopped going. Some of it, I think I was just being rebellious, but I think a lot of it was I felt God had taken my father away. And so why was I going to commit to this church, these boring classes, and folks just didn't understand. It's like, you're doing so well, Ron. It was just like, this is not about me doing well. This is about a relationship that no one's helping me understand and reconcile with. So fast forward to Grace, when Shanita basically ran home after going to Pastor Lori's convocation, it was like this, and I'm going to imitate you, so forgive me. Ron! Ron!
That's how it sounds?
No. That's how it sounded in my head. I was like, wow, you're really excited. She's like, we have to go to Grace. We found our church. I was like, okay, we'll go.
This was a long working process as we put it up there. We had just so many churches. So I finally felt like this could be our home. I was super excited.
And so being here at Grace is the first time I felt a true spiritual community that wasn't centered on, when you're bad, you must confess, or like, hi, I'm trying to sell you something.
I didn't actually get baptized when I was little, and Pastor Lori was walking by and she saw us talking about baptism and she heard me say that I'd never been baptized. She said, well, we got to get you baptized. And I was like, all right. And so I met with her and she explained like the purpose of baptism, and it's not necessarily like this sacrifice. It's like your public commitment to like God and affirming that in front of a community. It's not necessarily like now you're like completely free of sins. You won't ever make a mistake again. But like this is your commitment, and what happened in the past and things that you regret and you're sorry for, like that's all washed away. It's like your clean slate. And I was like, I definitely want to get baptized. Like after hearing that. I give to Grace Church because Grace Church has given so much to me spiritually, emotionally. I sit on several ministries, and within that, I feel like I become a better person each time I serve, and that helps me serve the greater community that's around me.
I started off going to church as a good Filipino Roman Catholic, and the experience of being in a Roman Catholic church was very much of pray, don't question, and get out. I didn't really have a big sense of what community was until I attended Grace Church in March 2014. It's a total 180. Grace is centered on community. Grace is centered on social justice and liberation, and it's one of the primary reasons that I'm a steward and why I give to Grace Church.